Hey, what's going on, everybody? Beth and I are here today because, as we expected, o3-mini and actually o3-high dropped today. So, just a few hours ago, if that. So, Beth and I, and anybody else that joined, but Beth and I are the ones that are available, one to pop on and give you some of our, live reactions to it. And we quite literally, both of us have only had, I don't know, minutes really to play with it and try to figure out, like the Carl way, how can I break this and how quickly can I break it? Like it's the AI nerd in all of us to try to do that. So first things first, Beth, why don't we just bring up on the screen the actual release announcement? We'll talk about some of the wording in it because I do think there's some clarifications about what o3 Mini is. Is it just a more powerful model than o1, or is it geared towards a certain place? So let's talk about them first if you want. I'll share it on my screen. Just realized I had access to that. Uh, ye-
Okay.
Did it go? Is it sharing?
It is not. I will.
There it is. Okay, I wasn't sure. That's right. I get it. You got it from your side. Okay, it's 4 o'clock shows. This is what happens. Yeah. So you can see this is released today. Pushing the frontier of cost-effective reasoning. I'll read just a little bit of this, but obviously anybody else can go read this as well. We're releasing OpenAI's o3-mini, the newest, most cost-efficient model in our reasoning series, available in both ChatGPT and an API today. And as a matter of fact, it is. Both Beth and I have it in our not Pro, our Plus models.
Right.
Previewed in December 24 to 24, powerful and fast model advances the boundaries of what small models can achieve, delivering exceptional STEM capabilities. I think that's really important. They have that right in the middle, with particular strength in science, math, and coding, all while maintaining a low cost and reduced latency of OpenAI o1 Mini. Well, I will tell you, it is definitely faster than o1 Mini, though it is definitely reduced latency. You can tell right off the bat with that. It says OpenAI o3-mini is our first small reasoning model that supports highly requested developer features, including function calling, structured outputs, and developer messages, making it production ready out of the gate. Like OpenAI's o1 mini and OpenAI o1 preview, OI mini will support streaming. So right out of the gate, they're kind of saying like, look, this is built. This is going to help developers. This is STEM focused. So when you read that, Bat, do you kind of like see this as the predecessor to, not the predecessor, the follow-up to o1, or is this more of a fine-tuned reasoning model?
Um, I think that it is a little bit more of a fine-tuned reasoning model, but O1 Mini disappeared from the drop down. So I think they did like, okay,
Did
let's,
say it was gonna
you know,
replace.
we're gonna make something that is both better and cheaper. So,
Mhm.
so like, yay for everybody. But I do think that that's where it is. Does it say? Do we get the same? Do we get, like, 50 a day? I'm now I'm like, "Wait, I had it figured out with O1 Mini. What did you just do to me?"
Well, if it's funny you say that because, like, and I was just saying to you this before we went live that I quite literally read that email from OpenAI saying, introducing o3 Mini, and I don't know where it went. I know, like, I'm like, it's kind of, I'm having one of those Friday nuts moments where I'm like, I know I read that. I definitely know I read that, but I'm not picking back up on it. Not only that, but it actually had maybe it was the announcement inside ChatGPT because it did pop up on my screen saying, "Hey, do you want to try this out?" And there was a link, which I've also lost because I closed it somehow, that said, "Don't forget, prompting for these reasoning models is different than your typical ChatGPT. Here are some best use cases." I opened it, Beth, and I've clearly lost it. So that's gonna be one of the first things I look at is like, what are their suggestions on how to prompt for this model? Because those are always like the best way to get good at these quickly.
Right. So I'm on X also, and McKay Wrigley is saying that they replaced every AI agent and workflow they have that was running the O1 model with the new O3 Mini, and they all still work and some work better, but for 9 times cheaper and 4 times faster.
There you go.
So that's amazing, but
Yeah.
I'm still not seeing. Let's see, I can share that actually. Um,
While you're looking for it, I'm gonna look for the answer to that because I feel like I saw it as far as the how much you get at the pro space.
And hey, for those of you who are in the chat, do you have Plus? Have you played with O1 Mini or O3 Mini or O3 Mini High? This is gonna be a whole new vocabulary that we're trying to figure.
Right.
We'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and pop it in the chat, whatever you've got. So this is what they're saying, in terms of the cheaper, the less expensive, it's less expensive. And so on input, um, there we go. So, on input, O1 was $60 and sorry, $60 on output and $15 on input. This doesn't even have O1 Pro on it. O3-mini at launch was $12 output and $3 input, and O3-mini and O1-mini were 440 output and 110 input, and so it is 63% cheaper than O1-mini. I don't know how that can happen because you just gave a thing that said it's the same. Oh, at launch. Got it.
At launch. Yeah.
That's carrying a lot of weight there. Okay. Um, so yeah, I'm just looking at the people who have already, actually, started using it, works really well. For the O1 Pro workflow, McKay is saying also. So new things are possible, but this was also something, Brian, you talked about it being, perhaps a little bit more of a coding assistant than like
Yeah.
a reasoning in that kind of way, and those are, McKay's usual use cases. Mackay, sorry, reach out to us. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
So
Um,
let's talk about O1 because we got 2 models. We didn't just get O1 o3 mini, we got o3 mini high. So
yeah,
let's talk about what o3 mini high is. And it said it was great at coding and logic. And I thought, whoa, let's throw a logic puzzle
yeah.
at it. That's the first thing I want to do. So
Okay. While
I'm
you're
gonna
putting that up,
yeah,
can we just talk about, like, I don't mix the things, right? If you have a mini, you have a maxi. If you have a high, you have a low. We're
right,
like,
right.
"What is happening?"
Yeah. Well what they're saying clearly with their naming convention here is that it's O3 mini, but it's like talking to O3 mini if it was high. And
Right.
so you're gonna get a different, deeper level of reasoning. It says a lot of "whoa, dudes." It it just it just stops at points, Beth, and says, "You just blew my mind," but doesn't answer the question. And
Well,
I think it's just a different way of getting reasoning model, right? You know, sometimes you want to get the answers, and sometimes you just want to blow its mind. And that's clearly what they're responding to what we've all been asking for, which is a high model. That's such a stupid joke. Glad you're laughing at that, but it's so stupid. I apologize to
or,
everybody.
like, talk as a pirate, right? Like, "No, no, no, I need you to talk to me as the" like,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
complete
you're
fake.
as if we live in Denver. Yeah, that's how I need you to how would somebody in Denver answer this question? The answer is they wouldn't, but they would do a lot of thinking about it. There would be a lot of pontificating, but you would never actually get the answer. Just
And
you know what?
Joel is like,
Mega.
"Go 3 mega." There we go.
That's where we're going. I mean,
Okay.
well, I was gonna make a dumb joke there too. Okay, I'm gonna pop with the jokes. Okay, let's look at this. So just to show you what I did. So before because I was like, yeah, ChatGPT, go ahead and give me a good logic puzzle here. I was like, give me a really tough logic problem that I used to test the latest O3 high model, right? And it got confused and said, well, here's one for GPT-4 Turbo, which is not O3 high. But anyway, regardless, it gave me this puzzle. Now, even as it was writing this puzzle, I was like, I wonder if this is a real puzzle. Did ChatGPT just make up a puzzle? And it might have, but I put up another one after this. So basically, it says secret agent is on a mission to retrieve a classified document hidden inside a locked safe. He knows the code to the safe is a 3-digit number. He has managed to gather the following intelligence from 3 informants. However, at least one of them is lying, and the others may or may not be telling the truth. The sum of the 3 digits is 13. The first digit is twice the third, and the second digit is one more than the third digit. Okay, so we've seen sort of logic puzzles like this before. The agent also finds a note in the room that says the safe code does not contain a 0 or a 9, knowing that only one informant is lying and that the code is indeed a valid 3-digit number, 100 to 999. What's the correct combination safe? Then GPT said, try throwing this at O3 high. See if you get that answer. Let me know how it does. So then I switched models and I said, solve this puzzle. Okay, so we get this was really fast, by the way. I mean, this was like 1 minute and 6 seconds, the total thing, but look at everything it did in 1 minute and 6 seconds. I obviously I'm not gonna read all this, Beth, but it's like, let me see, let me look at it this way, let me look at it that way. I'm considering C values. I'm looking at ambiguity in in the way it was written, right? And on and on and on and on, and it just keeps working it through. And then it says below is one way to solve the puzzle. That is to show that under the assumption that exactly one of three information is lying and given the constraints that lead to multiple valid state combinations rather than one, and it works it through. Then it does some strong math. It does some more strong math on it, some additional case three, and then summary, it says, under the condition that exactly only one informant is lying, we find these possibilities. And it gives a couple numbers. That gives 8 possible combinations in total. And then conclusion, there's no unique solution. Depending on which informant is the liar, the state's code could be any of the following 8 numbers. And it gives 8 numbers. And then it says, okay, so if you plan to test the latest O3 high model with this puzzle, watch out for the ambiguity. It's a fun challenge with multiple correct answers. And I thought, okay, well, that's fair because I didn't know if that puzzle actually had a real answer or not. So then I went to YouTube and found the hardest puzzle and gave it that one. I can't hear you, Beth, if you're talking.
Yep.
Okay, me.
And I love where you're going, but this also points out for me one of the problems that we are or the opportunities or however you wanna describe it, we now have AI, that is definitely smarter than we are, right? Like, I don't know the answer to this, and so, how are we testing it in a way that we can make sure that it answered the test correctly? Are we going to now Gemini and saying, "Hey, this was the answer that that this one gave me.
Well,
Is
listen,
that
we've
correct?"
talked about that, right? The old multi-agent solution, which is go check the answer of the other AI, right? So we know
Right.
that's going to be a thing in time.
We
Now,
know
this
you're
one
the
does, yeah,
smarter.
this from YouTube, and this is apparently the hardest logic problem. That's the way the YouTube found it. And so you have 3 yes no questions to identify 3 gods. The god of who always answers truthfully. See, similar here, right? One that always lies, and one god that randomly mixes true and false answers. One big problem: the answer in their own language, which you don't speak. What do you do? So this one actually did answer this correctly, although it did admit at the end that it was aware that this is generally considered one of the hardest logic problems. So was it in the training data or did it actually solve it? However, 57 seconds. And again, what I find really valuable from this, Beth, we say this all the time, is the actual thinking, not the answer, because this is really, really interesting as it works through and as it finds like roadblocks and dead ends and how it pivots. I find that to be endlessly fascinating. I could actually read this thinking process more than I would actually care to read the answer. Because I think it just uncovers so much about how these thinking models actually operate and how they work through logic problems like this one. So again, same thing, we get through it. The setup, you have 3 CRUDs, core idea, step 1, step 2, step 3, the questions that you need to ask in order to get it. And it says the gist: by carefully nesting your questions, you can cancel out the liar's inversion and the language barrier. The key is to first isolate the non-random god, since it can't be reliable, and then ask him meta questions that yield the same answer regardless of his nature, truthful or lying. Once you have that, the identities follow from analyzing the pattern of responses. And then this is where tells you, yes, it's a brain twister and has been dubbed the hardest logic puzzle ever from 1996 in another book. It may feel like you're bending logic into a pretzel, but that's the beauty of meta questions. They let you sidestep the unknown meanings of da and ja, which were the language you don't know, and the nuisance of a random answerer. So, in summary, with these 3 carefully engineered questions, you can identify each god, even if they answer in a language you don't speak. Enjoy torturing your model with this one. So that is, by the way, the right answer. But again, it did admit at the end that it was aware that this is a common hardest logic, whatever. So
Right?
they mean logic, probably, to be honest with you. The o3-mini high means like logic in like reasoning for coding, probably, if I had to guess, more STEM related stuff. But still very fast. I mean, that's a minute answer. And if for a full minute working it way through the process, running into roadblocks, coming back, super, super, super cool. Hey Andy.
Well, yes. Thank you.
So I think it's cool, Beth. I mean, it's very fast. I'll say that. And of course, I'm not using the API, but if I was, would you say 9 times cheaper?
Yeah.
I mean, significantly, right? Significantly cheaper. So
Right.
Andy, any initial thoughts? And then I have one other thing I'll share too, Beth, because we were talking about it before the show with Notebook LM, and I'll share that as well. But Andy, have you had a chance to look at it all? Beth and I have been talking about it just a little bit.
I haven't. Noticed your comment in the Slack that you didn't notice a tremendous difference between O1 and O3 mini. And my comment back to you was, well, reading through the documentation that was offered by OpenAI, they focused on developing STEM reasoning
Right.
for mathematics and science. And so the o3 mini model, you would probably want to use that if you're working at that level of con-
He moved on us.
Oh, no.
You're good where you were standing, Andy. And he's out on the farm, and I think he just lost his connection. But if he comes back, we'll bring him back into it. What Andy's saying though, Beth, is what we were saying, right? Like he clearly has a focus here. And yeah, there he is. We got two Andys now. We lost you for a second, Andy, as you were saying that as you're moving around. Can you just repeat?
And now we're gonna lose you again, I think.
Oh, no.
But now I can put you back in the stream. Um, okay.
Hey, listen, I'm going to go up to my, I'm going to go to my office and get on a real computer here.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you in a minute.
Because Andy is not just the co-host of the Daily AI Show. As you can see, he has a whole other job that uses hats and overalls.
Yeah. Usually Andy is known to say, "Hey guys, I have to go take care of other horses as we're finishing up the show."
Yep.
So he has a lot that he's working on. Maybe one day we'll get him to talk about all the goodness he does, and his wife as well for what they do. But yeah, he's not just an AI expert. He's a farmer or not well, farmer. I don't know. He's got horses. I know that
He's a
much.
rancher, isn't he? He has a ranch.
Yeah, he has a ranch. I think that there you go. He's a rancher is better than I was like, farmer doesn't sound right. Well, while he's doing that real quick, Beth, I'll just talk about what I did. I don't even necessarily need to bring it up. I could always just play that. Well, let me bring it up because I can play the audio of it super quick. Because I think this is a cool use case that anybody can try. Share one more time.
It's available on Cursor now. So the people who are like fast out of the gate to add the model have done so.
Yeah. And they look, that's like we see like Ethan Malik taught. Well, I'm sure he has a post about it right now. Typically, he starts that post by saying, I've had access to o3 mini for a few weeks now.
Yep.
So certain people definitely get early access to this so they can start putting like really good posts. Obviously, Beth and I are not in that super group yet. We will be
But we would love to be. Yeah.
yeah, we will be someday. And then we'll be doing a live reaction of us telling you we've been using it for 2 weeks and we'll have better examples. I'm just bringing this up. You're probably looking at this and going, this looks like Notebook LM. It is. But here's what I did, because I've said this on the show before that I really like to use our conundrums from the newsletter that we do every Sunday. Subscribe to that if you like. It's free. It comes out every Sunday and there'll be a new conundrum. So I like to use those as a test against these reasoning models. So I did something a little different though, Beth and Andy, and I thought this is a cool use case. You tell me. Not only did I have o3-mini run through the conundrum and give me pros and cons to both sides, but I also this time, which I've never done before, I had it create a mini debate. And I said, be civil, but definitely try to win the debate. So then it created a mini debate. And then I thought, well, what can I do with this mini debate? I know, I'll go put it in Notebook LM. So I entered it into Notebook LM in an attempt to get the two hosts of Notebook LM to debate this. I was like, that'll be really interesting because when I was reading the debate, I was like, this is something I would actually listen to. So I did that. It became a 10-minute, like basically mini podcast. I'll just play a little bit of it, but I just thought it was a super cool use case and maybe something that somebody else can try as well.
Debate comes in,
Right.
this push and pull between those who are saying full speed ahead with AI.
Right.
It's the key to solving all our problems. And then you have the folks who are, urging a bit more caution, saying, hold on, let's think about the environmental cost
Exactly.
before we go all in.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
We've got a whole stack of articles, reports, opinions,
Mhm.
and it's basically this showdown between AI acceleration
Yeah.
and environmental sustainability.
Right.
So some experts are saying AI is the only way we're going to fix climate change.
Mhm.
Well, others are like, whoa, hold up, look at the energy this thing is guzzling.
Exactly.
So we're going to untangle this whole mess.
Exactly. She said, exactly. Listen, I told Beth this right before. I said, I listened to this podcast. It was a good debate, I'm not gonna lie. And literally the only thing I did was have o3-mini. By the way, I'm not suggesting O1 or R1 would not have been able to handle this. I'm not saying like, oh, this is some higher level, but it did it very quickly. And getting that debate, that FOD debated it, and then throwing that in Notebook LM was just a super fun way of listening to two voices go back and forth on a topic. And the idea, obviously, of conundrum or a paradox is that there's really no one right answer. Everything is in the middle, and it's like, how do you come about it at both sides? So it's just a super fun thing, and I think we'll definitely use this maybe in newsletters or maybe as many shows, actually, just little side shows that we can put out just for fun. They're like 10 minutes long. So anyway, Andy, you're back on a better connection now. We heard a little bit about what you started with. We heard you talk about STEM, and I was saying, Beth and I, we were talking about that at the top of this live reaction, but please pick it up from there.
Yeah, I was reviewing the post on openai.com about o3-mini, and it comes complete with a series of graphs, charts that are showing its performance against O1,
Mm-hmm.
O1 preview, and it's on the math benchmarks and on coding benchmarks, it performs ahead of O1 in most cases. And that's pretty remarkable given how much smaller a model it is. But its generation is the next generation of model, and all of its training distilled down into the o3-mini. There is an O3 model out there that we don't have access to yet. The only thing that's been made available to us is this smaller distillation of the O3 class frontier model. And even the mini version of it is outperforming O1 on most of the STEM-related science, technology, kind of mathematics and analysis.
So, I also did, I'm seeing, like, more people say, "This is much better," like, "I'm really satisfied with the model." There are other people who are saying, both that R1 is free, so it's still cheaper, folks, but also that, for them, O1 Pro was better or, Claude 3.5 is still better for what they're individually doing. But I did find the answer. ChatGPT Plus and team plans will get 150 messages per day. It does not say whether it's different for O1 Mini High or O1 Mini, just O1 Mini. ChatGPT Pro subscribers get unlimited access. That's not that surprising. And ChatGPT Enterprise and Edu customers should have O1 Mini in a week. They don't have it yet. And it's available via the OpenAI's API to select developers. Initially, it will not have support for analyzing images. But the other thing that I saw about that was developers who are at the tier 3 through 5 will have it, but not tiers 1 and 2 just yet. And if you're somebody who wants to play around, you can buy your way into the advanced tiers. You just have to, because you have to spend X amount of money in a month. You can just buy the credits and bump yourself up a tier if that's something you want to do. It was worth it to me to do, I think, 150. I did not do the $1,000 one, but I think I'm tier 3 now, so I'll go play.
Yeah, I want to just read this quick quote from OpenAI's documentation on the release of O3-mini. And it said, this is a step in OpenAI's mission to push the boundaries of cost-effective intelligence. So it's not the preeminent intelligence, it's the cost-effective version of it. And it said, by optimizing reasoning for STEM domains while keeping costs low, we're making high-quality AI more accessible. And then the rejoinder to that is to scientists and mathematicians and other people who are going to use this model for financial analysis and so on. Inexpensive reasoning capability that's focused on these kind of high-end, complicated problems.
Yeah.
And there are some questions about whether it's available for free people. It's going to be. I believe they said that, but I don't
Sam did.
see
Yeah.
any information about when
Yeah, I saw
or
that
how
in the
many.
documentation. It said that you could, by clicking on the think link, there's a think button. If you click
Let's
on think in ChatGPT free version, that's going to invoke the o3-mini model.
So is that because the light bulb disappeared for me? Is it only about the light bulb was
Stuff disappeared.
the light bulb was for the free people? It was kinda cool. Like, yeah, let's have a light bulb moment together, ChatGPT.
Hey, since this is coding based and I'm not a coder, I thought, well, literally, quite literally, while you guys were just talking. So in the last 2 minutes, I went ahead and ran this. So I started an o3-mini and I was like, hey, write me some code to do a simple logic game. You pick the logic game. And then what it did was it went through the whole thinking process in like 30 seconds. And it's like, this is what you need to do. And I was like, okay, what's the code? What is the HTML code for that? Then it gave me the HTML code. Then I went over to I started a new chat in Canvas, went over and I said, hey, run this code for me. And then it ran the code in Canvas. And if you see, we can actually preview the game right here. So very, very quick. Now that all happened while you guys were just talking. So whatever you're seeing on the screen, and it is workable. If I grab this, I can actually bring it to the next tower like this, right? And so
Now, I would just hold. If you stop sharing for a second,
yep.
I want to just hold this up to the screen. This is the comp. Let me see if I can get this so you can see it. Can you? Can you?
See, believe
I know you.
Spiegel.
Yeah. Let me see. If I come back for, let me just try to bring down the brightness of this thing so it kind of zooms in on there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
There we go.
the three white bars with the tallest of the three being O1.
Okay.
This is on the math benchmark, AIME. And then you see the three bars in yellow are all o3-mini. But
Okay.
O3 can be articulated for regular, medium, and high thinking, which basically just provides that inference time compute addition for the reasoning steps. And you can see that with it at medium, it's basically the same as O1, which is a very large model. But if you give it the additional time to think, it surpasses O1.
Yeah.
So it's smarter on the math benchmarks if you give it time to think about it.
So my questions are, since it's sharing its thought process with you, are those counted as tokens because it's outputting them? It sounds like it would be, right?
Hmm.
Like it's literally
Maybe there's,
Yeah.
I know there's a significant more amount of tokens that you get. So
are there? Okay.
yeah, it was like 200,000 or something like that.
And that's context memory too?
Probably. Yeah, that's a net secret. That's a secret plot that I haven't been able to find that since I saw it. I swear it existed, but it had that in it. It told us what the rates were and stuff like that. And it's as quickly as I saw it, it disappeared. So if anybody knows where that is, they can let me know. But I read it and then it was gone. So
Okay. Joel is saying, ask it if God can make a rock so heavy that he can't lift it.
it didn't make a rock so heavy that he can't lift it. I mean, I guess you could and then get through the logic of it and see where it goes. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, it's probably, like a lot of these models at first, it's like, well, how would I use this or whatever? I'm kind of honestly still stuck on using Perplexity plus the R1 or O1. So I'm sure Perplexity will have O3 available, especially if it's cheaper. That will be available if it's not already. I mean, Perplexity is usually really, really quick with these things. So that'll be interesting to see if they do that and then how it affects it. But definitely the two-part process of Perplexity plus these reasoning models to me is still like the coolest thing I've seen in the last couple of
Yes.
years.
Here's
Yeah.
another tidbit in terms of the cost structure. Right now, if you're using o3-mini, you're limited to 50 messages per day.
Right.
But if you use o3-mini now, you get 150 messages a day. So they tripled the available number of exchanges that you can have with the o3-mini model compared to the o1-mini model.
Yep. You also can't open something in Canvas. Um, but it did do sort of, I don't know, it feels like, perhaps a darling interpretation. It thought about using Canvas for 19 seconds,
Yeah.
and then it
Nice.
wondered what Canvas might mean. Could it be, Canvas LMS or perhaps a drawing canvas? Gaining clarity, could you please clarify what you mean by opening canvas? And of course, once again, uh, OpenAI has given us something that doesn't know what else is available from OpenAI. But clearly, it's meant to be a coding assistant, so I assume that Canvas will come relatively soon so that you can use it and edit the code.
Yeah, as regards coding assistance, um, uh, OpenAI says that the o3-mini is the first small reasoning model that supports highly requested developer features,
Like,
including function calling, structured outputs, and developer messages, making it production ready out of the gate. So they're really asking you to start experimenting as a coder with o3-mini because they designed it expressly for that purpose.
Yeah, and that's something I'd love to, like, get, if anybody who watches this or whatever, reach out to us if you are a coder and, you're intelligent enough to see and know the differences. I'd love to see and hear from somebody who would use a tool like this to see if they see a difference using O3, as it comes out, and that for me, at least, that's just not where my expertise is.
An interesting point, I recently have been, near the end of developing all the application functionality on medium complexity app, web app that, we're going to show on the dailyaishow.com website when one of these is finished. But I began using the assistant in Replit to do some of the troubleshooting and so on, and that's Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And there's a little note that I think I shared when I was demoing this thing that says, "From Replit," which is, by the way, a very large and successful platform for coding. And Google, when Sundar Pichai announced that some 40 or 50% of their generated code is now being generated with AI, uh, they invested in Replit, and there's a lot of Replit users at Google. So anyway, and
yep,
it's just important to note that they're probably not using a Gemini model for their coding assistant. They're probably using Claude 3.5 Sonnet because Replit says Claude 3.5 Sonnet should be used. Why? Because if you use any other models, it won't perform as well in coding, right?
wow.
So they basically give that credential to that. Then when I recently moved over to try to replicate everything that I'd done, no pun intended with Replit, but I tried to replicate what I'd replited uh, on lovable.com. Okay, and I was surprised actually to notice that the specifications that came out of my product requirements were almost identical in terms of the stack and the structure of the code, everything down to it's going to use Vite, React and Vite for the client. Everything was very, very similar. And I'm going, I wonder why this is. And then I saw Claude 3.5 Sonnet. That's what's being used inside Lovable to generate the assistant responses. So now the question is o3-mini sufficiently better at this than Claude 3.5 Sonnet that platforms like Replit and Lovable, which are sort of no code capable coding assistants, agents, in fact, that can actually generate and launch application components in your system stack, the database, the client server, the development server, all of that stuff, API server. They'll launch all those things for you as part of just your straight natural language requests to build something. Will those platforms now start to offer the selection of, okay, you can also use o3-mini as the
I would
coding
think
agent?
so. I would
Because up to this point, even though we know that o1 has been really good at generating code, OpenAI hasn't provided all the necessary tooling to actually make that a deliverable. If you're trying to build something on the web using one of these agents out there, you can talk to o1 and they can generate code and you can copy and paste that and move it elsewhere. You can preview it actually in the canvas if that shows up, but you can't actually launch or deploy the application that you build. So Right now, Claude's kind of dominating the two major players out there that provide that turnkey service, and maybe o3-mini is gonna displace that.
Yep. Cursor has already announced that that you can use o3-mini with it. I, assume that Perplexity has announced or will because they're really quick usually. Um, but I am not seeing more.
I will look. I haven't seen anything from Perplexity at the moment, but yeah, I'm sure they'll have something quick on what model. I'd have to go
Yeah,
look here and see.
I'm I'm looking at Cursor right now, and in my Cursor drop down for the available models, it has Claude 3.5 Sonnet as the default, but you can also use GPT-4o. You can use o1-mini, o1 Preview, o1, and now o3-mini. It's there.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me at all. I don't see it for all models. Now includes GPT. Yeah. So I don't see it at the moment in Perplexity, but I would agree this is coming very quick. And also didn't mean to find this, but I didn't realize image generation for Perplexity was also giving you access to Flux
Yep.
point one, which is great actually. I didn't realize Perplexity was doing just more reasons to love Perplexity. Um, okay, do you think we should wrap this up, Beth? Because I feel like we've gone way longer than we said we were going to.
We did, we should, but I have to share, sorry, I just have to share what Sam wrote because, first of all, o3-mini is out, smart, fast model, available in ChatGPT and the API. It can search the web and it shows it's syncing. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know we
Um,
could do that.
it's available to the free tier users. Click the reason button, which may or may not look like a light bulb. With ChatGPT Plus, you can select the o3-mini I, which thinks harder and gives better answers. But then if you come down, a lot of people prefer this to o1, and it's just the mini model. Now we work on the big brother. I think that's a very unfortunate choice of words
Big
because
brother.
we don't need you to be working on Big Brother
Yeah,
soon.
that is
Uh,
unfortunate. You're right.
just like, yeah.
No, no apocalyptic illusions intended there. Yeah.
Just just perhaps several days after you, announced your close relationship with US
That's a
government.
T-shirt that says "Open the Eye." We're really working on Big Brother. Ooh. Yeah, that's funny, Beth. Probably wouldn't have picked up on that, but that is really funny. Joseph in the comments too. Did you guys already do an episode exploring? Holy moly! I'm sure you guys heard that. Did you guys
Yeah. Is this your leaf blower, people?
listen? No, no. You know how
It's live, everybody. This soon happened.
it's gonna try not to be the guy that runs out to the front lawn and says, "Slow down," but I want to be because
Oh, was it a Trump golf cart?
Because Brian's in Florida, if you don't know.
did you guys already do an episode exploring the Perplexity mobile app? Just the mobile app, Joel? I
I think
don't
maybe we
think
need.
so. Um, not the just the mobile app, but certainly Perplexity. And God knows, I always think it's time to do another one because I always find something new and cool that you can do inside of Perplexity.
I find the mobile app and the desktop app, it's completely interchangeable. I mean, I can pose a question just using voice to the Perplexity app on my phone, and then I can put my phone down right away, come inside, open up Perplexity, and there's the question and the answer right there in the same format, same presentation. So I'm not sure how the mobile app for Perplexity is different, or at least I haven't used it in any way that's different from the desktop.
Yeah. Ooh, it can replace the Google agent on Android. Nice. We definitely are gonna do another Perplexity, session soon because Brian's doing really interesting things with the reasoning
Much
models.
cool stuff to go in. And then, like I said, I keep finding stuff like today. It has nothing to do with today's live thing, but I keep finding stuff in there today, like, Flux and all that. I'm like, oh, I'm not thinking that Perplexity is giving me back images, but it's like, oh, it's got Dolly in there, it's got Flux in there, it's got other things in there. I mean, come on, it's like Perplexity, and that's not even getting into like building the pages, right, Beth, and spaces and all the things you can do in there, which I actually train on. I train on through the scaled side of things or whatever, but we've just never necessarily done a show like that for Daily AI Show. But I do 1 hour trainings as part of a 6-week course just on Perplexity and then how it can interact with ChatGPT. So it sounds like something we definitely need to bring back. So yeah,
February looks good. All right. Thanks for hanging 40 minutes with us for our 10-minute.
15-minute live. Is that correct, Beth? Yeah. We have no shot. Even when we say we're going to do 15 minutes, we go 43. Oh, Lord.
But this was good. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back on Monday on our regular time, 10 a.m. Eastern. See ya.